Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Hey, welcome to this week's live. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be getting into your ideal Facebook ad budget or your meta ad budget for those of you that are heathens in the world. We're also going to be covering all of your questions of the week. Also, once again, want to make an announcement here, reiterate the announcement from last week. We do have a membership program now for YouTube, and it's as simple. I think it's $5.95 a month. It's just a great way for you to show support of what we're doing here. Help Boo Boo get some, some more treats, whatever. It's really helpful. I'd love to be able to get some more support here so we can do more and more bigger and better things. The last video we just dropped took a month and took my YouTube team to make it happen. And I'd love to get more and more of that kind of stuff live on YouTube, and to be as helpful as possible to as many people as we possibly can. And so I just really appreciate all of your support in all of those things. So we're going to be covering all of your questions for the week. Also, if you do join the membership, one of the benefits is all of your questions get answered first and in much greater detail than maybe we have been. And I'd love to be able to do all of that. Also, big thanks to those that have sent me big thanks to all of you that have sent me your requests and being part of our live 4PI analysis. We're going to be doing that here shortly, and I just really, really appreciate it. Also, I am looking for ads to review for another Killer Ads template video. And if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and message me. And we can define all of those things as well. We can get you onto all those things. Sorry, I read something and then I got this little girl who desperately needs a nap and is fighting it tooth and nail. So anyway, all of that stuff. Would love if you're willing to have your ads be part of it. There's some things I need from you. If you want to be part of the live 4PI analysis videos, I'd love for you to be a part of it. Let me know. And we're going to be having more things coming. Also, big request from me to you all is, what would you like to see in the next 5-Minute Friday videos? Those videos have fundamentally changed the direction of this channel. And I just want to share my analytics here real quick. I just want to share this. All right, I'm going to present. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Window. Yep. Let's get this. Boom. This was the first 5-Minute Friday, and now just nuclear. This is the drop of the 90-minute video. Like, we're doing everything we possibly can to just do as much of this stuff as we can. And I just really, really appreciate all of it from all of you. So all that to be said, let's get started with the show.
Everything is going extremely well.
And now, showtime.
Boom. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's Friday Live, where we go over all your questions from the week and we dive into some more lessons. This week, we are going to be covering the ideal Facebook ads budget. I'm going to be sharing slides to walk you through how to know your ideal budget. We're going to break it all down with the 3 different things that you need to know, as well as address all your comments on all the YouTube videos throughout the whole week, address your questions that you're going to be asking live. So if you have questions, you want to get them answered during this call, you can go ahead, drop them in the chat. Super chats make it to the top of the list. And remember, you can always support this channel by joining as a member. It's like $5 a month, and it just means that your questions get answered first. You don't have to necessarily super chat. And if you comment on videos, we'll answer those first as well. Okay, all that to be said. Hey, Charlie girl, you ready? Mwah! Okay, we are going to get into a couple of things. I'm sorry, sweetie. Somebody desperately needs a nap, and it won't take it. So you're going to take a huge sleep after this, aren't you, girl? Yes, she is. Okay, so all that being said, let's dive into 2 or 3 comments, and then we'll go into the budget and campaign planning, your ideal meta budget. I'm going to walk you through the 3 things you need to know, the 3 different ways to figure out your ideal budget and how you should be thinking about this if you want to grow your business and focus on profit volume and growth instead of profit margin, so you can try to maintain your margin as your ad spend gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Because remember, that is stupid. Margin is not the same thing as volume, and attribution isn't reality. It's about data, right? So all that being said, let's dive into it. Thank you, everybody that's here. Let's share the screen, boo-boo. There we go. Bam. All right. And we're going to zoom on in here. Thank you. Oh, man. There's so much stuff. I'm actually going to leave. There's so many questions on the Meta Ads course here. Yo, what's up, Berlin? Berlin, where are you at, actually? Berlin Studio. Are you in Germany? Or is that just like your name, Berlin? I don't know. Drop it in the chat. I'm super curious, Berlin. Good to see you here. What up? Okay. I'll just leave that up here. Why not? Oh, also, by the way, this has been a smash. I highly recommend you guys check out the Ultimate Mastery Bundle. It's now available. Just type scale into the chat, and I'll send you the link. We've had people join from all over into that, and you know, to get down to it, we'll show more about what that bundle is here in just a minute. I want to, you know, I made the commitment to get through some of these questions, and so we're going to do it. But yeah, like multiple continents, people around the world joining that, and it just makes me, yes, it just makes me so happy to get people in. Anyway, let's dive into it. Part of me doesn't even want to answer these questions here live on the air because I love the comment section of this to just be as valuable as possible in the full Meta Ads course. But we can say that for later. Okay, so here we go. So this is from a live earlier. My 30. Oh, wait, go back. Okay. Boom. My 30-day Facebook ads experiment that changed everything. This is a great live that came on from earlier this week, actually. Hi, Charlie. My campaigns tend to suffer badly during the weekend. Should I leave the campaign on during the weekend, accept the impact, and decide? I'm going to just lower this down in here because, you know, you guys don't care, but I'm talking away from the camera because of the baby. Okay, there we go. Whatever. Bad framing. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Alan. My campaigns tend to suffer badly during the weekend. Should I leave the campaign on during the weekend, accept the impact, and decide whether I can scale based on a 7-day period? It's the campaign warming up the customers during the weekend so that they convert during the week? Question mark. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Alan. To be straightforward with you, this happens a lot. Now, you have 2 choices, Alan. You can say, I am focused mostly on profit margin for dollar spent. In that case, turn your ads off during the weekend. If you want the highest volume of customers to get the most amount of cash flow so that you can actually grow your business, leave the ads on because, as you asked, yes, this campaign is warming up the customers during the weekend so that they convert during the week. When I was running 310 Nutrition, for instance, that's a meal replacement weight loss brand. We went from 15 mil to 98 mil in 20 months. One of the things we did was we stopped cranking down the ads on Friday and Saturday. You know what nobody wants on Friday? To lose weight. You know what they do you know what they do though? They say, okay, I saw this ad, I'm all for it. I'm going to go out this weekend. And then on Sunday, I'm going to get my life together. When we stopped cutting back ads on the days that were bad for us, when we had interweek seasonality, the volume of customers we got on good days grew exponentially. We don't care if a day is good or bad. We care if week over week the business is getting better. So Alan, you understand it. You get it. You've been paying attention. I love it. And yeah, man, just keep it up. Charlie's the awesome and meta ads. Thank you. Yeah, the meta ads course. I really hope you all enjoy it. It was over almost 90 minutes of just every single screen, every single thing, so that you never have to worry about dealing with other scammers and gurus and agencies and cost cap bros and all this just insecure scammer predatory bullshit. You don't need them. You can do it yourself. All right, man, all of this. Okay, cool. So let's get to Dimitri. How do you deal with formats? One ad set for 4x5, one ad set for 9x16. This is talking about the 5-Minute Friday we did on the Power of the 322 ad. The most scalable ad ever. Question mark, exclamation point. Oh, exclamation point, question mark. So yeah, how do I deal with formats? I generally I like how you said this, Dimitri. If I'm trying to test 2 different versions of the ad, because I've identified with the 4PI analysis that these are the ads that I need to run to solve the problem that I have, I'll run a 4x5 and a 9x16 and see which one of those ultimately solves my problem in a more effective manner. That sounds great. So, Dimitri, I think you 100% have it. When doing 322 ads, don't test format within the ad. Decide on the format you want and then test your variations within it. And if you want to test 2 formats side by side to see which one gets the job done better, I'm all for it. That's exactly what you should be doing. Great scientific method, using data, leveraging machine learning, and you're not making the machine dumber to try to get lucky. You're trying to leverage how the machine works to get better results that are stable. Love it. Okay. One more thing here. All right. This is a big one, Walton. Okay. This is for the Your Creative Testing's Completely Wrong video, which is, first off, a banger video. Second, still 100% relevant. Okay. Appreciate the insight. My only issue with dynamic creative testing is attribution with third-party tools like MTA to understand the incrementality of performance. All right, Walton, let me help you out with that. Attribution has nothing to do with incrementality. The way you test is, if I have this ad in my account and it gets more spend, what happens to the business as a whole? So I just got into this thing with Comment Thread Collective, folks, where they just launched this tool that helps you launch like 1,000 ads or something. Like, great, which ad works? Well, this thing's got a better ROAS or something on it, better contribution margin for that ad. But you have no idea if that ad actually helped your business. Attribution is not performance. Attribution is what data you're letting the machine see to make other informed decisions. Okay? So we don't care about MTA with dynamic creative. Has nothing to do with it. MTA, in my opinion, is completely useless. I've been building 7, 8, 9-figure businesses for years. I've always rejected every single one of the MTAs. In fact, in the Facebook Ads MBA program, we talked through the documentation. It's step number 1, Scrum Doc and Ecosystem ROAS, of how you can, at a glance, understand incrementality. Anybody can in like 30 seconds or less. Like, it's really, really easy to see when you stop trying to see who takes credit for success and rather which team member being a part of the team makes the team better. And those are 2 very, very different conversations. So let's go on, Walton. This continues to say, often this is using UTM parameters and dynamic creative ads passed through in time performance, so we don't actually see which pieces of the ads are winning on the back end. Yeah, you never will. And that's also completely fine, because you don't have you don't have control over that delivery. Therefore, the ability to see which ad is doing what or which element is doing what is a completely useless data point. If you cannot take action, the data is useless. Understanding which element of an ad gets credit for which sale, but not knowing if that provides incrementality or not, because again, MTA doesn't tell you that. And ultimately, to understand in some variation inside of the ecosystem on that particular day in a way that you cannot control, something gets better credit. If you can't take action on it, it doesn't matter. So, Walton, I get where you're coming from. I've been there, but I just want to help you know that none of this matters. This is all smoke and mirrors, shiny object syndrome, and attribution in this way was invented by ad agencies to take credit for results, which was necessary early on 30 years ago. Right? When y'all were eating snack packs, this mattered. As soon as you grew some short and curlies, it didn't. All right. So you might have a video and 2 headlines that are killing it, but the other video is bringing down performance. You're not able to see it on the back end. Yeah, and you can't control it either. Doesn't matter. You just see blended performance. That's all that matters. If you keep the same framework, but then the ad set where you separate out creative and headlines into their own ads, how much does it take away from your method? If you build out individual ads that are all competing with each other for data and cannibalizing each other, you're going to have a bunch of dumber ads. I actually got into this. You know what? Screw it. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. What do you, bro? Oh, sorry, I just got a text. Let's see. Come on, dude. Yeah, get out of my face. All right. Let's see where this thing is, because I really wanted to get to this. And I think this was really important. And I think this really gets down to a lot of what we're talking about. So let's just dive through this. And boom. Okay. So this is from D2C, Jacob. Sorry, we don't have anything to sell you. CTC is just going to continue to lead the way with technical innovation. Here's a glimpse of what we're pumping out. More templates, more bulk editors, so many ads. So many ads. But let's actually, wind that back for a moment, okay? Bro, get out of my face with the text messages, homie. You're killing me. Like, if I tell you I'm on camera, stop pinging me. Dude. All right. What are you doing to me? Okay. Where is this at? Okay, cool. Boom. We'll just drive up here. Okay. So the point of what they're doing by making 1,000 ads so easy to see and so easy to make and so easy to launch is that they're basically saying less stability and a harder to manage cash flow and inventory is brought to you as a service. Here's the thing. Different ads buy different attention. And this conversation goes on, and I appreciate it. Jacob says, how does this literally make any sense? Okay, Jacob, let's break it down. Different ads attract different attention, right? Different ads appeal to different people. They all have their own data. They all have their own life cycle. All right. Different attention behaves differently. Okay. That makes sense too, right? Different people behave differently. Okay. Facebook relies on data volume and integrity. It needs more data to understand what's going on, and that data needs to be of value. Got it. More ads equals less data per ad, right? If you're spending all of your money on 2 ads, those ads are going to get 100. Those 2 ads get 100% of your information. If those 2 ads are 2 of 100, maybe they only get 2% of the information. They're 25 times dumber, right? So explain to me how amplifying the differentiation to make the machine dumber in a way that makes consistency of user profile, quality, and quantity all but impossible to predict or manage. How does that help? Because here's the thing. If different ads attract different attention and different attention behaves differently, running different ads gets customers who don't behave in the same way, meaning that setting up future cash flow becomes almost impossible because you're trying to meet the needs of 1,000 different customers instead of the same type of customer that you can get 1,000 of. There's a fundamental difference in what that looks like. And that's because performance marketing is not the same as growth marketing. All right. So how does that help? Explain to me like I'm 5. And I appreciate Jacob's coming back. He's not a coward like Taylor is. And he says, I disagree with their hypothesis that one of the most sophisticated machine in the world, it becomes dumber with greater variance. Jacob then goes on to make a very informed and great point. Jacob, I loved it. I hope you're seeing this because unlike your boss, you understand some things about science. In fact, in statistics, variance is an incredibly important part in pattern matching and machine intelligence. Without it, you will find local maxima and suboptimal outcomes, which is nerd talk, which I understand, but to break it down, he's basically saying, if you only get one unique kind of thing, it's very hard to know what's going to happen when you try to go beyond that, which is 100% true. And I wrote back to him, and again, Jacob, you're totally right. Up to this point, everything you said was fully actionable and accurate and informed, and you're clearly a really smart person. Here's the problem. Allocation of data is the issue. The variance is occurring on the supply side. Facebook has trillions of data points on billions of users going over a decade. Each person has trillions of data points. Each person has been on Facebook on average for over 10 years. The volume of ads is the demand side. Every ad starts from zero. These ads don't compound, they cannibalize each other, right? If you think of ads as like folders that all collect information, having 1,000 different folders doesn't mean that all the folders talk to each other. They're actually stealing from each other. Because when one gets a piece of information, it's competing against somebody else that has a different experience. In a dynamic creative, however, those variations are all complementary. All of that data is compounding, which is why a 322 ad is far superior to playing the guessing game at scale. So, all right, you can go down here. There you go. All right. So think of it like this. A business can run for decades and get better and better at their operations, like McDonald's, right? There's a thing called Hamburger University that McDonald's invented so that literally anybody can be a good McDonald's employee. The thing is, if McDonald's is in business for 70 years, McDonald's is really fucking good at what they do. But if you hire and fire 10 new managers every week for every location, the longevity and experience of McDonald's corporate doesn't make any of those managers that you hire and fire every week any better. It's not that those individual managers are gaining the experience of the overall business. The mountaintop that they start on is better, but if they're all competing with each other, they're not actually getting any smarter. They're not actually getting any better. Instead of hiring and firing 10 new managers every week, what if you hired and fired one manager every 10 weeks? Each one of those people would be exponentially more talented, more experienced, and better at their job. The same thing happens with ads. That's why you don't launch a bunch of ads. And to be fair, Jacob comes back, and I haven't gotten through this, so we'll handle it here. Jacob says, I think you assume there's randomness in how we structure and design ads, which is not true. Also, Jacob, I don't think there's randomness in how you structure. I don't think there's randomness in how you structure and design ads. That also doesn't matter. Jacob also says there's clear reporting and iteration based on well-structured concepts. You're reporting attribution-based metrics. You are not in control of delivery. So you're reporting on the output of something where you cannot control the input. That is inactionable data. It is worthless. So this provides the algorithm with option in having a quantitative and measurable understanding of what's performing and why. Totally accurate, Jacob. The problem is you're treating Facebook ads like email. You're treating Facebook ads like search. You're treating Facebook ads. Petru, we are live right now, homie. Petru says, when was this recorded? We're live right now, buddy. It is 2:20, is 12/29 February or October the 25th on Friday. I don't know why I said February. We're live right now, okay, buddy? This is literally from Twitter like today, okay? This is from hours ago on Twitter. I haven't even been able to respond to this person yet. I was too busy teaching classes in Disruptor School and taking care of my baby. All right. So anyway, here's the problem. Quantitative analysis 100% matters when you have an inventory or demand-based ecosystem. When you can control the inventory, when you have an email list, or a demand-based ecosystem, when you're running PPC campaigns, then yes. Charlie, don't get into that. No, girl. Then yes, in those ways, quantitative measures matter. Click-through rate of your headline. Yes. Conversion rate of your web page. Well, that's a whole other thing. All of that stuff matters in inventory and demand-based platforms, mid and bottom funnel. Facebook is not that. The ecosystem, the economy of Facebook is not a quantitative one. It is a qualitative one. It is not an inventory place where you are trying to game supply and demand and arbitrage the price of attention. It is a qualitative measurement. And the problem when you run so many iterations, Jacob, is you're not able to understand the qualitative impact of any individual player. And more importantly, none of those players are able to improve their quality. So you're making a lot of quantitative decisions in an ecosystem where the economy is, I don't want to get too like econometrician and nerdy about stuff, but let's dive down for like 1 second. All right, here we go. Let's yeah, whatever. Here we go. Let's dive down for 1 second here, okay? I want to be very clear. Jacob is really smart, and Jacob is right about almost everything. And I really value the fact that Jacob, unlike his boss, is not a fucking coward. He's standing up for himself and what he believes in, and he's a very informed person. That's great. He's not Taylor Holiday. He's somebody with integrity. The point is here, all right? You're welcome, Petru. The point is this, that Petru, Jacob is talking about a classic supply and demand economy where supply is a constant and demand changes, right? So the price of gas goes up or down depending on how much gas you have and how much people want it. The problem is Facebook doesn't work that way. Facebook is an optimized CPM environment. And to be fair, all social media is an optimized CPM environment. You see the same thing with TikTok. You see the same thing with Snapchat. You see the same thing to a lesser extent with Pinterest and absolutely on YouTube. The point here is that the economy is not a quantitative supply and demand one where you are trying to game the system. This is, I don't want to get too nerdy, but like, fuck it, let's go. This is a merit-based economy where the currency is attention. The higher quality your ability, the higher quality your assets, the quality of the assets you have change the unit economics. Here's why it matters. What is Google's business model? Google's business model is built around the idea of giving you an answer as fast as possible, right? You ask a question, you get an answer immediately. And to be fair, Amazon, same thing. What are you looking to buy? Boom, here's the most popular one. Google and Amazon are stoked if your average user experience is like half a second, right? Like that's amazing, right? Thing is, Facebook's completely different. You're not telling the machine what you want. It's telling you what you want, right? Facebook newsfeed, Instagram newsfeed is the same thing as Google search result, except instead of you telling the machine what you want, it's giving you your search results every time you open and hit refresh because it's cycling through a feed of things that are going to make you feel a certain way based on the way that you are acting both online and in the real world in the conversations you're having with people. Why this matters is because of three things. First, when you are trying to get an inventory or demand-based ecosystem to be more efficient, you are trying to get lower CPCs, better CTRs, and you just game the system that way. But Facebook isn't that. In Facebook, you're trying to buy a higher quality and you're trying to buy a higher volume of higher quality piece of attention so that you can feed the inventory and demand-based systems. Which brings us to point number 2. Making Facebook more efficient, which is Common Thread Collective and all of the cost cap bros like Andrew Ferris and all the other folks that fundamentally don't know how Facebook works. Like there's a knowledge gap between what they're talking about and then huge chasm and then what actual truth is. And the knowledge gap is based on this simple misunderstanding. Facebook works, their business model is the retention of attention for profit. Who sees your ads? And we break this down in the 4PI analysis videos, by the way. You should absolutely take a look at them. Facebook is trying to show people content they want to see. Your ad needs to meet that business objective. And what we're talking about when understand what's going on as Common Thread and all the other cost cap bros push greater efficiency according to quantitative attribution inside of the platform, or trying to take multi-touch attribution across everything. When you make Facebook more efficient, that inherently inhibits volume downstream. Oh yeah, no problem, Mosin. I got you. When you do that, that inherently inhibits volume downstream. When you make Facebook more efficient at driving a sale, that means you have less people looking to buy. Now you might say, well, if I can get the sale right away, what's the problem with that? Well, the problem with that, by the way, somebody just hit scale, so I'm hitting you back, buddy. All right, there you go. Actually, I'll just throw this up on the screen. You can snag it there. That's really long and awful. I apologize. Just go to shop the school on disruptorschool.com and you'll be able to get it. Okay. But you're Mosin. I hope that helps you out. Otherwise, DM me, let me know, and I got you. Okay. Yeah. So here's the problem. If I can make Facebook 10% more efficient, and that comes at the expense of 2 to 3 times as much volume on search and email, that means I'm making my least efficient channel more efficient in the direct expense of volume of conversions that can happen anywhere else. Efficiency at the top of the funnel starves volume further down. You would let me put it to you this way, okay? I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for 1 second because this is really important. 100% profit margin on $100 is 100 times smaller than 1% profit margin on $1 million. When you make Facebook more efficient, that means you're closing the deal at the top of the funnel. You are starving what happens in the mid and the bottom. Getting the greatest efficiency helps only if your product, if your service is margin. There's a reason why they push CPA and contribution margin at the ad level. This comes at the direct expense of profit volume. Would you rather make half the profit margin per sale and get 3 times as many customers? If the answer is yes, you should never listen to them ever again. And the problem here is that what Jacob is proposing, where he's right about everything except the game he's playing, is that Common Thread inherently, cost caps, inherently, these absolutists to a near religious level, because that's the only way you can make the cult work. What they're missing fundamentally is the business acumen to understand that Facebook's job is to amplify what works. It's not to replace it. Facebook should never be as efficient as Google. Facebook should never be as efficient as Amazon. It should never be as efficient as email. If it is, that means you're not spending nearly as much money on Facebook, on Google, not nearly as much money on Amazon, and you're not sending nearly enough emails. If the least efficient channel that is designed to get people into your store is the most effective marketing channel you have a terrible business. I'll do one more example here. There's a ton more comments here, and I don't want to get to it because I promise you we're going to get through the idea of Facebook ads budget, and we're going to pull that up right away. And I do see the questions mounting up. Believe me, I see them, everybody over there. By the way, one shout out right now, just again, if you join the YouTube membership and any member asks a question, I'll stop what I'm doing and answer your question right away. And it's like $5 a month. Just help me help support this channel in that way. That'd be amazing. So I can do more of those like really long form videos that you guys really liked. And I'm planning one right now. It's going to take me 2 months, but if I can get support for you guys, I can get it done in like 3 weeks. So please help me be able to focus on that stuff. The problem here, at the end of the day, man, I was going on something and I kind of lost the thread. The problem here is that there's a misalignment of the definition of success. The problem is there's a corruption to the motivation. If the objective was to grow the business, What you would want is the most stable, scalable acquisition of attention that you can monetize and then turn into future cash flow. And you can invest some of the profit of that future cash flow into acquiring more marketing, acquiring more attention. Thank you, Pachu. You're talking about Facebook being the most efficient channel. I appreciate it. So here's the thing. Your first sale is the least profitable. I'm going to get rid of this because this is just getting me off track. Your first sale is the least profitable one in your business. These cost cap marketers, they are focusing on day one profitability being the only source of revenue you have. And then you also get the folks that look at, and that's ROAS or contribution to margin or MER folks. They're fundamentally missing 95% of the equation. Then you get folks that listen to people who are really smart, like Hormozy. And Hormozy's absolutely right with LTV to CAC. The problem is you don't run a gym. CAC is not your only cost. Every transaction in your business costs money. When somebody buys a second or third time, believe me, you've spent money on that. Also, those products cost money. So LTV to CAC doesn't work either. So instead of being a qualitative business partner, which takes a lot more skill and is far less scalable, these ad agencies like Common Thread, who, for instance, should have sold their business 4 years ago and realized they fucked up, which is why they're losing employees on a consistent basis and why that business is struggling to make things work, and why they're selling SaaS products, and everything they said they would never do 6 months ago is everything they're trying to tell you now because they're fucking scrambling. Because the honest truth is, it's a lot easier to sell people on the lie that making Facebook more efficient makes you more money. And what's even more frustrating is they're absolutely right in the beginning. 100% making Facebook more efficient with cost caps and stuff like that will work for you for the first 6 months, or 6 weeks, 9 weeks. The problem is those efforts. What do you have, girl? What do you? Oh, girl, no. You can't play with my camera like that. Oh, Charlie, no. I mean, I know I don't use this camera anymore, but come on. Okay. All right, and then I promise we're going to get to the ideal budget stuff. The problem here is it's a lot easier to sell the lie because the contract. By the way, how can we get that membership? It's on YouTube. There's like YouTube memberships. I think if you go to the channel, you can select it. And again, it's like $5 a month. Okay. Yeah, we're live. Hey, what do you have in your mouth now? What is this? What do you got? Come here. All right, Charlie, you are driving me nuts. What do we got here? What do we got? Huh? What do you got here? Anything? Okay. It's wood? Where did you even get wood? Okay. Yeah, she's 10 months. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So here's the problem. It's a lot easier to tell people that short hack with immediate returns is what's best for you. But it happens at the corruption of the rest of the funnel. The reason the cost caps work is because they pillage the existing funnel, but they don't do it in a compounding, complementary way. So I follow me here, Deb. I got you, okay? This is the way the cost caps work. Say you have 100 sales. It'll look at that data, and maybe it'll drive you an extra 50 sales that are 10% more efficient. The problem is if that's your only source of sales, if that's the only source of traffic, if that's your source of revenue, then the real problem exists in that you have a depreciating flywheel. It takes 100 data points to make 50 more. As you make a copy of a copy of a copy, what happens? Well, your ads fatigue and costs rise. So the only way around that is to either raise your bids or launch a bunch more ads. Well, the problem is each one of those ads and using the, okay. The problem is each one of those ads and using that McDonald's manager analogy, each one of those ads is dumber than the previous one. Now, the entire machine is a little bit smarter, but each individual ad unit has to start at zero again. So you end up trying to did I just mute this thing? Okay. You end up trying to overcome the depreciation of your flywheel by launching a lot more ads to attract new attention. But every piece of that attention is of lower quality. Jacob is talking about solving the problem with quantity. The problem is when you try to solve a qualitative problem with volume, you ultimately run out of valuable data to begin with. And unless your business is strong enough outside of it, it'll never work. These are depreciating flywheels. What you want is a compounding flywheel. I'm not saying cost cap should never be used. Hell, I'm the person that wrote the manual that they use. The problem is they threw out 80 pages of the 100-page book, and they're running on only the one thing, and then they're getting rid of all the context. If it's 10% of your ad spend, if it's 5% of your overall traffic, hell, if it's 50% of your ad spend and 20% of your overall sales, that depreciation can be propped up by all of the other influxes of data. That can 100% happen. Look at brands like Obvi. They're in Walmart, right? They have a community of over 50,000 women. The Facebook ads are effectively functioning like another Amazon. That works. Charley, come on. You're killing me. Now you're playing with a trash can? Okay. Look at a brand like Jones Road, right? Cody with Jones Road Beauty. His mom is the Michael Jordan of makeup. They go viral every time she tells you how to put stuff on. It's like Tom Brady saying this is how you throw a football. And then Tom Brady's kids saying, I'm really good at marketing because I'm selling how Tom Brady throws a football. The attention is not being bought by Facebook. It's not the top of the funnel. So if it's only serving as a mid or bottom funnel effort, you can absolutely be profitable. Now, your growth will stall because you're not aiming at building a compounding flywheel, but you're not investing Facebook ads to build that compounding flywheel. And that's a business decision. And who am I to say that those businesses that are worth 8 figures are doing something wrong? The path to success is unique for everyone. And that's fine. The point is that the motivation is completely misaligned. That business model where Jacob works, a Common Thread Collective, is built off of a simple thing. We promise you better results by using a hack, and we'll manage it for you. The problem is that hack is not sustainable. And those immediately better results are undeniable. And generally, it might take you, if you don't catch it in the first 60 days, you're probably going to sign the contract for the next term. On a quarterly billing plan that might be mid 5 or upper 5 figures, it might take you until signing the second contract to realize that it's actually not sustainable. Oh, well, ads are fatiguing, so let's get more ads, right? Enter Jacob in this situation. You know who sells making more creatives? Common Thread. With constant creative. Like, the point is, they have a scam, and then they sell you the solution to the problem that they create. The problem is that doesn't actually solve the problem. That slaps a Band-Aid on something as it gets worse and worse, faster and faster, until eventually the whole shithouse goes up in flames. And if you ask Taylor about it, which I have in person, and he's a fucking bully in person too, by the way. He's a crybaby bully. He says it's not his fault. It's the business owner's responsibility. Taylor's position is that if you are a good business owner, you would never hire him. That's his business model. Okay. There are a ton of questions mounting up in the chat. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get through all of the comments here on YouTube and stuff, but I hope that answers Walton's question from like 30 fucking minutes ago. Anyway, let's deliver on the promise here, and then we'll try to get through as many things as we can. Again, if you jump into the membership for this, we'll make sure that all of your questions get answered on all these lives because I want to answer them all. I really, really do. But sometimes we get on these, we get on these sidetracks, and for that I apologize. But that's where we're at. I only have so much time because I have a client meeting in 1 minute. or sorry, in 10 minutes with somebody who sells political merchandise for both parties. Fun fact, guess in the chat. How about this? Guess in the chat which political party is struggling to sell merchandise and which one is scaling to the fucking moon. Winner gets some free shit. We'll figure it out. Okay. All right. So let's get to this here. We're gonna here, take this. Take this. Take this.
This.
Go. Okay. So we can do this. We'll share the screen. We'll get to here. Boom. Awesome. So let's get to this, okay? Because this is why we were here. One of you in the chat is right. One of you is wrong. So far, we have guesses for the Democrat is struggling, and we have Harrison Waltz is scaling. Okay. Keep bringing up I'll declare a winner. Just keep guessing in the chat, and we'll make it fun, okay? Let's have some fun with things. All right. Now, let's get to this. Your ideal meta budget. The first thing you need to do is establish a runway. Here's another guess from Joshua. You need to establish a runway. This style is your total budget and total time you can invest. Another way of looking at your ideal budget is how much of your profits can you afford to spend? This is putting money into ads instead of the bank. And the last way of looking at your budget is how much can you afford to lose? Remember that investing in growth is rarely profitable on day one. So what would your total loss investment look like? So first, we need to understand that the point of running ads is to get out of the learning phase, which again, if you launch 1,000 ads by following comment thread, you'll never fucking get there. Thank you, Gibby. All right. So getting out of learning phase. This might be, we're getting more votes. And I'll tell you, in these votes, I think the wrong answer is taking the majority of options here. So one of the things we need to focus on is getting out of the learning phase. Is that an objective that we want? Do we want to play the data game, or do we want to play the volume game? Do we want to have a compounding flywheel of value, or a cannibalistic depreciating flywheel that requires more and more volume just to maintain? One of these will grow, one of these won't. Okay, so for learning phase, if we can get out of the learning phase, remember that ads in the learning phase are less stable and as such, less scalable. So when I'm trying to figure out our ideal budget, how much does each sale cost you? And remember that this is not your blended result. This is based on attribution, right? This is based on the data that you're willing to let the platform see. What is your platform cost per result? How many actions can you afford to buy a week? It might take 10 to 25 actions to get out of the learning phase. So, oh, there we go. Interesting. Tom's got a take. This is fun. So let's say an item costs $10. If you need to get 10 to 25 results a week to get out of the learning phase, that means each ad needs to be able to drive. You probably need to spend $100 to $250 per that level, right? Okay. That's a way of understanding what we need to do. Now, when we're getting into this at a deeper level, let's go back here for a moment. I really want to establish the runway piece here. All right, now that we understand what the goals are, establishing a runway looks like this. If I have, say, $10,000 and 30 days to make this thing work, that means I roughly have about $300 a day if I were to itemize out those days to see if I can make it happen. Now, it doesn't mean that I need to be profitable at the end of that 30 days. If I spent $10,000 and at the end of 30 days, I have $5,000 left in the bank, I can continue to go for another 15 days, 16, 17 days. Now, at the end of that time, when I start at, yeah, absolutely. The more sales you make, the longer the runway, because all of those sales bring you more revenue. So if I have 10,000 over 30 days, and at the end of that 30 days, I have 5K left. And that lets me go for another 2 weeks. And at the end of that 2 weeks, I have 4K left. And with that, I can probably go for another 2 weeks or so. And at the end of that, I have 5K left. I actually have more than when I started. And at the end of that 2 weeks, I've got like 7K. Well, now I'm scaling a business, or I have the option to invest more money in what's working to amplify the attention that I'm buying to better monetize it, and then turn that into future cash so that I can start to amplify the whole thing. That is a runway. Understand what your budget is and how much time you have to be successful. That is one of the best ways of defining what your ideal budget is. Another way of doing this is understanding how much of your profits can you afford to spend. If, for instance, your business is making $500 a day in profit, let's say you're making $250 a day in profit. Can you spend 20% of that profit volume on ads? Can you afford to? In that case, hey, we can spend $50 a day. And that'll fundamentally inform your strategy and architecture and all of the things that you're doing, not only in how complicated your ad account is, but also what products you're promoting, which again goes and completely defeats what Jacob is saying about trying to promote 1,000 different things and seeing what gets lucky. And again, not a shot at Jacob. It's a shot at his low integrity bully / fucking like coward of a boss, Taylor. The point here is simple. What can you do? What can you afford to do? And the problem with them too is they're not just going to launch 1,000 ads. They're going to launch 1,000 ads promoting 12 different things and seeing what gets lucky to get you any profit margin today. The problem is that's not sustainable. You don't want to try to get lucky as many places as you possibly can. You want to see what is the thing that works. What is the thing that is stable, that produces a profit where I can invest some of that profit into getting more? If I make that work, eventually it's not $250 a day, it's like 300. So 20% isn't 50, it's 60. And as I continue to scale that up, the percentage, the volume of money, the percentage can stay the same, but the volume of that profit that I can add to more and more budget continues to increase. If I'm launching one offer, attracting one type of information, so I get one type of customer into my store and I know how to convert them better and better or get them to spend more and more money, the ability for me to ramp up the volume of money that I'm spending on ads is exponentially more powerful and consistent and higher confidence. So when you're trying to figure all this stuff out, identify the one thing we want our ads to do. Put a number to this goal. It's a value, it's volume, or it's cost. And then understand all of the ad assets that are required to get there. Right? Your copy, your creative, your landing page, your tools. Make it as simple as possible. Have the simplest machine that has the most easily definable, highest value, greatest inflection point benefit to your business. If you have something where you can invest 5% more, 2-3 times a week, say you do it 3 times a week. Because again, you've got this, thing where you're making $50 profit that you can invest, happy, right? And then after a while, you can increase the budget by 5%. And so it's going up. And I hear you, well, 5% more isn't a lot. Sure, 5%, 3 times a week after 33 days doubles your budget. If your budget is $500 and you did that for a year, your daily budget would be over $130,000. Why the fuck are you doing anything else? The answer is simple. Because you've been told to by folks whose business model is to take advantage of your funnel and sell you solutions to problems they create. That's it. That's everything. So I gotta go. But fun fact, Trump's merch sales are tanking. You can't sell shit. And everybody's complaining because they're buying merch from Trump and it's all garbage. Every single thing is terrible quality, made in China. Every single thing is trash. He's paying China to make trash, upcharging it by 500 to 700% and then selling it to you because he's a good businessman, right? He's in the MAGA side, right? He's got a clearly defined market that defines victim as their identity. For what it's worth, it's good for business. It's shit for everybody else. With that being said, I'll see you guys next week.